Today I'm going to show you how to increase the height of your handlebars, in other words your stem, using one of these, which is a stem raiser, which can be purchased for around about £15. It's such an easy job to do that even a 7-year-old could do it. In fact, I'm going to get a 7-year-old to do it.
I'm a 7-year-old.
Brilliant. Now the reason for doing this is simply because often handlebars are far much lower than a seat, which can cause lots of back problems. And you can see placing the spirit level on this particular handlebar makes the seat much higher, and I would really like it so that the handlebars were level with the seat. So we need to raise it up by about that much. Now modern handlebars, you aren't able to increase the height very easily, so you have to buy a stem raiser. The first task is to undo the dipstick, which you use using a hex key. In fact, a hex key is all you need. But one thing to check first is to make sure you have enough length in all your brake cables. Now my particular front brake cable is a little bit short, but I think there's just about enough play in there. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the brake cable so it just gives a little bit of space. So you lift up the lever and using the hex key undo the bolt that holds the cable in place. So unscrew it the other way, so it releases the cable so it's loose. That'll do. And then the cable should lift out. You can see there's a little bit of play in it now. It lifts out. The next thing to do is to undo the dipstick by using the hex key to unscrew. I should say at this point you should always keep your front wheel on the ground, otherwise the forks may well drop out of the steering tube once you undo this dipstick. So keep turning and remove the whole dipstick and the cover plate, and remove the whole dipstick and place it down. The next thing to do is to undo this hex bolt there, and there is one on the other side, using the hex key as well. Then remove the handlebar and the stem and just rest it down on your front wheel for the time being. Then take the stem raiser and place it on top of your steering tube, and it should sit snugly. Now they do come with spaces, and this will allow you to adjust the final height of your handlebars. I've actually removed one, and then what you need to do is, using the hex key, tighten up the stem raiser by tightening the hex bolts down below. Once you've ensured that the hex bolts are fully tightened, then you can place your handlebars and its stem on top of the stem raiser. Like so. Now, I was glad that I actually loosened up my brake cable, because it still fits in, but it was a little bit of pull on it then. Then what we need to do is we need to put it in the new dipstick and cover plate, and we're going to tighten this up almost to full tightness before we tighten up the handlebars. when you've almost tightened up this dipstick, now is the time to tighten up the hex bolts on your handlebars and your stem, making sure of course that your handlebars are straight with your front wheel, but minor adjustments can be made afterwards. Then finally tighten up the hex bolt of the dipstick, which will hold everything together. Now you should find that the seat and the stem are absolutely level with each other, which will make cycling a lot more comfortable. The final thing to do is just to readjust your brake cable by tightening up the hex bolt down here and then flicking the lever right over. I hope this has proved helpful to anybody who wants to change or raise their stem.